your host and Autism Calgary volunteer extraordinaire, Aidan David.
Today we have an awesome show for you folks. We'll be talking to Autism Calgary Executive Director Lyndon Parakin. Later I will be playing tennis with Serena Williams and talking to Jake about his new album. Let's welcome my first guest, Executive Director of Autism Calgary, software scientist, father of four and former Scouter, Lyndon Parakin.
Thank you, Aidan. It's such a privilege to be here. It's so exciting to be on your show today. Thank you, everybody.
I heard you have a fancy shooting office for media gigs.
Yes, I do.
Obviously you didn't wait for this one.
I was a little worried in the end that it would clash with my sneakers.
So let's get straight to it. What is this volunteer program Autism Calgary wants to start? Why do you need volunteers?
Great question, Aidan. We need to better engage our volunteers in order to support our organizational growth, and we need to better look at opportunities for volunteers to be engaged and to stay involved in the long term. You know, our board established these needs in looking at a much larger, broader strategy for the organization when we were investigated and interviewed and surveyed both internal and external stakeholders. Over the last year, we noticed a remarkable increase in the demand for finding volunteer opportunities. You know, and what's important about that work, Aidan, is we noticed that research really demonstrates the value in providing opportunities to give and receive through our charitable work in improving the lives of our members, persons living with autism.
What are you calling this initiative and how will it work exactly?
Aidan, we're going to call it the Community Growth Initiative. It's going to start in January of 2019 and it's going to run for 2 years through to December 2020. We need to do strategic enhancement of our current volunteer engagement program. We need to hire a dedicated volunteer manager, the equivalent of one full-time equivalent. And in the second year of the program in particular, we want to expand that work into a broader collaborative volunteering initiative amongst our partnerships here at our charitable hub.
So walk me through this. How long will this take? What are the stages?
Well, Aidan, the first stage in year one, we're going to look at hiring and training that volunteer manager. Which will take us first few months to get that person involved and engaged in our work. Then we're going to create volunteer training materials and volunteer management standards. And we're going to put a good 3 months into that to make sure we get it right. We're going to do pilot training materials and pilot the volunteer management strategies for at least a good 4 months. And then we're going to do a sort of a full implementation of recruitment and training of volunteers in our existing programs towards that sort of end of the first year. By year 2, we want to continue that coordination and management of volunteers, including some ongoing and iterative evaluation and adapting the program as we need to. Phase 6 in that second year, we want to develop that collaborative volunteerism program together with our other nonprofit partners in the hub. We want to pilot that program in year 2, in that collaborative fashion. And in a final phase, we want to do some serious and significant evaluation and ongoing implementation of the program.
But doesn't Autism Calgary already have volunteers? How is this building on what you are already doing?
Well, you know, Aidan, we've got some great volunteers, and you're one of our best. But we're not strategic enough about it to nurture more volunteers like you. So we kind of feel like 2019 is a real opportunity for community growth initiatives. We want to implement our other strategic growth pillars and launch several new and exciting initiatives that are going to depend on volunteerism for success.
And what exactly do you think will come of all this? What will be the result?
You know, Aidan, another great question. We want to be able to serve 30 to 40% more families and individuals living with autism in the community. It's a demand based on our organization. We're ready to rise to that need. We're going to look very carefully as we implement a volunteer initiative at 3 success areas as we evaluate it. We want to identify, measure, and monitor volunteer satisfaction, as well as staff satisfaction, so we can better maximize the use of our charitable dollars, both through volunteerism and the staff. And we want to really look at the overall organizational impact of the programs.
Do you think you're ready to take this on?
You know, Aidan, absolutely we are, because in fact we have done some piloting of our volunteer programming in its current form in 3 significant areas. We've had some exceptional results in our community presentation programs. Our library program, we've had some great results, as well as our partnership with Kids Up Front. We've had to recruit, retrain, and support some volunteers through this, and we've gained some of that initial wisdom and experience to know what we need to take on. And we need to really identify through this initiative how we can be sustainable in our programs over 2 years. And we also need to work on how we share our results of our work with our partners and other charities and other people in the community through our website, online, social media, and with our other partners across Calgary, Alberta, and the country.
What challenges do you think you will face?
Well, Aidan, we've prepared for a number of challenges, in fact. We're expecting that volunteer recruitment and retention will have both ups and downs through the year, and we've got to be wary of how we can support that. We're expecting that we need to also work on aligning job descriptions and matching the right volunteers with the right job to engage them and keep them interested, supported, and wanting to continue their work with us. We're also very aware of the fact that we're going to have to look at our conflict and concerns resolution process. When you're working with people, there's always that possibility.
Now we're going to play a little game called Choose an Objective. Which objective fits the project best and why? Engage citizens or strengthen charities?
Oh, Aidan, that's easy. Definitely engage citizens, absolutely. We see that there's a significant increase in the use of our volunteers through this program that we're planning, and meaningful opportunities to support 2 marginalized groups, persons living with autism and the caregivers, the parents that support them. And we're going to base our future growth and the direction on the input we get from our new volunteer program.
Now we will play a similar game called Choose a Priority. Which priority best describes the project and why? Reducing poverty, encouraging mental health, living a creative life, strengthening relationships with Indigenous communities, or planning a sustainable future.
Again, Aidan, that's got to be an easy one for us. Encouraging mental health stands out clear. Parents and children living with autism and adults living with autism live in social isolation, and they're at high risk. Through our work and through the initiative we're going to embark on, we're uniquely equipped to provide those people volunteer opportunities to give them an engaged life in the community. This is also going to help us serve that 30 to 40% more individuals and families that I mentioned earlier in the show are relying on us to provide support.
I'd like to thank you for coming out, Lyndon.
And who do you have next?
Serena and Drake.
Well, that'll be great, and it's been a real pleasure. Thank you, Aidan.